What's up, guys? I'm Alex.
I'm Jason. We're the Table Monkeys, and we are back with another video. As we have been discussing in a few videos recently, we're really trying to establish a curriculum for arm wrestling. We're working on creating a school here in Toronto, and part of that whole process is figuring out how to take people from never arm wrestled before to somewhat level of proficiency, and we think going through the moves on the hill is a really, really good way of doing that.
Right, so as an arm wrestler, not only should you know all the moves on the hill, but you should be able to perform every move on the hill with a certain degree of proficiency.
Yeah, and if you've ever heard Travis Bajan talk about how he likes to coach setting up and establishing your hit, one of the things he really talks about is that if your setup and everything is as proficient as it should be, you should be able to basically hit whatever hit you want and then return right back to center and basically be at the beginning of that move in the same position, right? So you could repeat that move over and over, kind of like cocking a gun or firing a gun, and it's the same motion each time. So that's kind of what we want to do with the hill. It's kind of like a kata in martial arts. We basically want to show you how we're going to go from our setup to executing each move on the hill, returning to center each time, and then going through the moves that way. A lot. It's similar to shadow boxing. It reminds me a lot of when I used to train Muay Thai. My coach used to always say, like, if you walk into a gym and you see one guy flailing away on a heavy bag, giving it everything he has, and then you see another guy in the corner going real slow and methodically, like working his jab or his push kick or his elbow or something like that, like that's the guy that you want to worry about, not the guy who's just going nuts on the pad. Because when push comes to shove, when fight or flight sets in, if your technique is really, really ironed down and really like you've really smoothed it over and everything, it's really proficient, when you have to just go at 100%, it's going to be executed effectively, where if you're just always going 100% but never working on technique, nothing's really going to change when it comes fight or flight time, right? So you really want to hone that technique in.
Yeah, exactly. So practice should be spent perfecting your technique, doing it slowly and methodically so you can make sure that the technique is perfect, and then you can work up to doing it at a high intensity. There's no point in practicing bad technique, especially with high degrees of force. It's just going to reinforce bad technique when push comes to shove and you're in that real match and you're expressing shitty technique, you're just going to get taken advantage of that much more. So always practice good technique, especially when you're doing these shadow boxing moves, and then eventually that'll translate into you being strong in those positions.
Yeah.
And then strong when push comes to shove and you're forced into varying positions on the table.
And this is the same, it's the same you would apply in any kind of weightlifting scenario, right? Like you might be really strong with a rounded back at first when you start deadlifting, but there's no point in practicing your deadlift with a rounded back. You want to take some time to learn how to do it properly, and then that brute strength that you have in that shitty position is going to translate to a good position once you've actually learned how to do the form properly. But no coach would tell you, like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter that your deadlift form is shit, just keep pulling that way because you're strong. And that's the same thing that we're trying to establish here. It doesn't matter that you can pull really, really well in a shitty position. You need to learn the good positions so that you can translate that strength to a good position. Because like Alex said, once you get into a match, all that arm wrestling is about is good position and bad position. Once I get a good position and put you in a bad position, that's what the whole match is about. That's how you're going to get tired way faster than I am, and I'm going to be able to beat you. It's not just about overpowering somebody when we're both in a strong position, although that does happen at times. What arm wrestling is really about is getting in a good position while putting your opponent in a bad position, right?
Exactly. So practice these moves, shadow box. You can do it on your own. You can do it with a partner who's giving zero resistance. practice all the moves, become proficient at it. Make sure that you're returning back to center in the position that you started with.
Yep.
And let us know what you think.
That's the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all of those things.
And Monkey's out.
Peace.